I got a call from his friends, and it said, "Mom," because they all call me Mom. "Mom, come quick. Alex had gotten shot." And then immediately I hear my other son yelling and screaming, saying that Alex had gotten shot. We've got to go. And so the next thing I know, maybe about an hour or so later, two ladies come into the waiting room and asked us to come back. But no one said, I'm thinking they're going to take me to see my son. But then they took us to that conference room. I knew it was not good. We got to the conference room and they had told me that Alex had passed away, succumbed to his injuries. You know, called everybody, the family, the church, everyone to let them know. So, you know, now I'm in project management mode. Like, what does this mean to me? How does this work? You know, how do you deal with this? Because I'm not processing. I'm not processing. And I think it's because I didn't get to see my child. So I didn't get to see my child until that Wednesday. And so until that time they released the body after doing the autopsy and whatnot, there's a bunch of young people here in the house. And they told me that he was shot because something a girl said. Something a girl said. And so I'm like, what? What are we talking about? So apparently, between that and him snitching on someone. And so apparently, this has been going on for over a year. The young man was only 20 years old. The young man used to be Alex's friend. That young man has been to my home. Again, I'm hearing it, but not really processing it because it's all a blur. So my son was shot twice over foolishness. This wasn't a crime scene. He was at a party. They actually had one of his last Snapchats or whatever the kids call it. And he was like, I'm having a good time. You can see him on the video at the pool party, you know, just having a good time. And so that's all I know. The young man that shot my Alex had just gotten out of jail that Friday, actually. He had a misdemeanor charge for guns. I don't know what these young people like about these guns. You know, I've even told my boys, nothing good is gonna happen with you all and these guns, these kids and these guns. And so he had just gotten a charge for battery, domestic violence, and shooting in a public location with a gun. And so that was Friday, and my son was killed on Sunday. I think, but when you have those guns so readily available to you, then you use that first before you start to think. You know, when we were growing up, if someone was mad at you, you know, you say 3 o'clock, meet us outside. We're gonna fight it out. Let the winner be the winner. And so our kids don't have the same type of critical thinking skills. Our young people don't. Our adults don't. You know, so you can't imagine young people having it when adults don't. I know people now who, adults, they told me a story, they got pulled over or some road rage. Somebody was really quick to say, you know, go get their gun, because that's all we, you know, that's our first instance. When you have a gun available to you, that's going to be your first thing to do. You feel more empowered by it, and so you're going to get that gun. And I think that's where we need to talk with our kids about making those good decisions. If you're going to have those guns, is what will cause you to really use it? Why are you going to use it? What's going to cause you to go get that gun? What's that situation that's going to say, you know what? This is the situation that I'm going to get a gun. Because if it's just as simple as you made me mad, or I'm having a bad day, so my emotions are all out of order and they're not in check, and so I'm, irrational. Because you don't know when you're irrational. You just go doing stuff. How many times have you said something to someone that you maybe shouldn't have because you were upset? I know I have. And just think about, if you're just so pushed to that corner, what's going to be that thing that says, I'm going to go get a gun and I'm going to end this conversation?